Chimney sweeps often used children as young as 4 to get into chimneys. A group of newsboys have a smoke during their break in St. Louis, May 1910. A group of young girls on a break from their jobs as oyster shuckers at a seafood canning company in Port Royal, South Carolina in 1910. From left to right, Josie 6 years old, Bertha 6 years old and Sophie 10 years old. In Gary, West Virginia, a boy applies the brakes on a motor train. He performs this task for around 10 hours each day. At the close of day, men and boys stand inside a crowded cage to be transported up the mining shaft at a Pennsylvania coal company. A teenage girl pauses from her work as a spinner at a cotton mill in Lancaster, South Carolina, 1908. A group of boys set up bowling pins at a late-night bowling alley in Trenton, New Jersey. Child labour, a young mine worker in West Virginia, 1908. Child labourer Neil Gallagher, who was injured in an accident at a Pennsylvania mine during the time of the Industrial Revolution. He was only 13 years old. Frank, age 14. He had been working in a mine for 3 years and had been hospitalised for a year when his leg was crushed by a coal car, taken in 1906. Breaker boys employed by the Pennsylvania Coal Company in 1911. Breaker boys working on top of chutes or conveyor belts would stop the coal by pushing their boots into the stream of fuel flowing beneath them, briefly pick out the impurities, and then let the coal pass on to the next breaker boys for further processing. Nola McKinney, whose legs were cut off by a motor car in a coal mine in West Virginia when he was only 14 years old. Children who were sent to work soon after they could walk and were paid based on how many buckets of oysters they shucked daily. This girl Rosie is pictured in 1913. Carrie, a 7-year-old oyster shucker at Pass Packing Company, going home at 5 p.m. after a day beginning at 4 a.m. and spent chucking oysters and tending the baby, a common practice among too young to work all the time. Location, Mississippi. Minnie Thomas, 9 years old, showing average size of a sardine knife used in cutting. Some of the children used a knife as large as this. Minnie works regularly in Seacoast Canning Company, mostly in the packing room, and when very busy working nights, cut some also cartons, and she said she earned only $2 a day packing. At the Seacoast Canning Factory, this little girl packed some with her mother. Mother and 2 sisters both work in the factory. One sister had made $7 in one day at the most, and that was during the rush season. The women begin work at 7 a.m. and at times work till midnight, whilst the brothers both work on boats, and the work is very irregular. A young shrimp picker.